Going to invite our mentee panel to come up to the front. I think the key part of the day really is to actually hear from young people who've been through the programme themselves and to think about how that's impacted them. So, Marriam, Rose, Chelsea, Unis, if you wouldn't mind joining me at the front, thank you. So yes, our most important players today. So can I just ask you, each of you, to just tell us a tiny bit about yourself then? I'm going to start with you, Chelsea.
Hi, my name is Chelsea, and I am an ambassador for Say Yes. And yeah,
And how many mentors have you had so far?
I've had more mentors so far, currently on my phone.
Yes. So we're very pleased to have Chelsea here today as an example of someone who's benefiting from the service and coming back again and again. So thank you, Chelsea. What about you, Unis?
So my name is Unis. I've just finished my first mentorship with Say Yes. My mentor is actually in the room right now. Paul, if you want to give us a little wave. Yeah, so I think the reason I decided to get involved with Say Yes and the reason I choose to represent Say Yes is compared to conventional methods of mentoring, I like the scope of flexibility that Say Yes has. As we saw, the domains, they covered essentially every aspect of life. And what I like to tell people is it's very fluid and it is the opposite of rigid. With a lot of mentoring structures, they have their frameworks and their structures and they don't deviate from it at all. And it feels very robotic and it feels quite frankly fake. You know, it feels as though you can't express yourself for how you feel because it doesn't match up with their systems. Whereas with Say Yes, you can talk about whatever it is going on in your life and your mentor is able to help you however they can. And if they can't, they refer you to another member that will have experience in that domain. And from there, it helps the young person really feel like they're being seen. And especially in the current state of the world where young people are very alien to the human touch because of things like COVID, because of the advancements in technology, you're able to have a personal relationship that helps you understand all the different aspects of your life.
Thank you very much, Unis. We can all go now. Thanks. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. And Marriam, can you give us a little intro?
Hi, I'm Marriam. I'm a mentor liaison with Say Yes. I've worked with mentors, so I've had a mentor and I'm on my second mentor, but I've also chosen to work with Say Yes further because I really believe in their aims, and I'll go into that further later on.
Thank you, Marriam. And Rose.
Hi everyone, my name is Rose and I am a mentee liaison. And I've had 2 mentors. I'm on my second mentor now.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much. So I think Eunice answered this a little bit, but I think my first question is really what initially got you interested in mentorship with Say Yes? I suppose what was it, the spark that got you interested?
So for me, actually, I didn't really have any plan of like entering any mentorship at first. But the way the structure was, Say Yes was much open for you to like express yourself, not feel like you're being forced to do it. So that's why I got more intrigued to continue, go back and come back again because I saw improvements in my life, and here I am now speaking. So I think that's why I keep on going back to Say Yes.
And that's interesting, but I think you're mentioning there about being here today speaking. Why is that significant? Because I think you've spoken to me about this, but others might not know. That's quite a big thing for you, right?
So I am not much of a speaker. I'm quite nervous now, but I think so I think my confidence has grown from as compared to at first. So I can see the growth that I have now till when I was when I was starting Say Yes. So that's why I feel, yeah.
Yes, Chelsea's come out and done many an assembly with me, which I find the most terrifying of all, being in a school, and you've done really well. So yeah, I've been really proud to see that confidence improve. Glad you're here. Thank you. What about you, Mariam? What got you initially interested?
So I there's a few things. In my life, I have many projects that I love to work on, and unfortunately, not a lot of people who are interested in those things, so whether it be business or whatever it may be, and therefore I find I do not have a lot of guidance. It's one thing to self-motivate, but you can't do that forever, I find. And also, I'm super nosy. So, so I like to explore any kind of opportunity or anything I see pop up. And I was scrolling through Instagram as one does, and I saw a mentoring for parents to meet young people, and I was like, parents? Yes, mentoring sounds interesting. So I kind of went through that, and then I was like, you know what? I think it was Paul who mentioned that his young people went with I want music, so I want to go with someone who's music. But I was like, let me challenge myself. Let me go with someone who is like completely opposite end of the spectrum for myself, and let's see what I can from that. And so yeah, disagreeable personality type, yes. And I found that really aligned with what I needed. I got quite a bit out of it.
Great, thank you, and hopefully we'll hear a bit more about that. Thank you, Marriam. Rose, what about you? What was your sort of initial interest in mentoring?
I think mine was similar to Mariam's, but more in terms of the fact that I had no support networks in my life at all. Because these support Careless young people, I found that I needed somebody that was removed from my life, removed from my experience, and I needed somebody that I felt I could open up to. And so it helped me look at myself differently, and that's what I think I needed from the mentoring.
Ah, okay. So yeah, giving yourself a new perspective on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's what I needed.
Thank you very much. So actually, here's a question then. And we don't have to necessarily always go in this order and everybody answering all the time, but I'm curious what each of you discovered or learned about yourself through mentoring. So we talked about awareness and acceptance. Is there something that came up for you where you got that new perspective on yourself that you hadn't had before? Yeah.
So everyone has this. I'm not going to make this an interactive experience, but if I was to ask you, are there some beliefs that you have about yourself? I'm sure everyone has some negative or positive. And for me, I would say, oh, I'm shy, I'm this, I'm that. But realistically, when I throw these ideas about myself to someone, to a mentor, she kind of was like, okay, well, let's explore this, what do you want to get out of it, so on and so forth. We went through that whole exploratory thing, and I realized, actually, you know what? I might feel these things, but I'm not those things. And now I feel like I'm sitting here in front of you and I might not seem shy, I might not seem all these things. I might feel them, but that's actually not who I am. So I kind of accepted and enabled myself to show who I am rather than keeping myself in a box that I had created for myself. If you could repeat the question, just because
so we were talking about what you discovered or learned about yourself.
So that's what I learned about myself, I guess. I learned about the boxes I placed around myself and who I could be if I didn't let the voice at the back of my head take control. Yeah.
I think that deserves a round of applause. Does anybody else have anything they want to add there about something that came up in mentoring that you discovered or learned about yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna build on Mariam's point actually. I think with myself personally, I've always seen myself as an independent, confident, the person that's being the voice for other people. But when adversities came up in my life and I was kind of turning into a shell of myself, I didn't know where to go for help because usually I am the help. And I think what I discovered is that you're not able to do everything by yourself. And it is that first step of asking for help that is often the hardest. But when you learn to accept it, it makes you come back twice as strong, because I've got friends to this day where they'll know what they need to do, but they're reluctant to take the first step because often the first step is asking someone to put them on or asking someone to help them look over their idea. And once you make it past that stage, you can take your idea that was already amazing and make it even better so that you're bound to succeed. And I think that's what I've learned through my mentorship.
Does anybody else have anything? Yeah, Rose?
In terms of my experience, I think I learned, along with what Marriam and Unis said, that my life is an experience and it's a process. And I think because of what I've experienced, I've been actually put in a box that I believed I wasn't because of how I grew up. So I think having that helped me explore, why did I have certain beliefs I had? Why did I have certain goals? Why were they important to me? And also understanding where I am today isn't necessarily a bad thing because I'm not there yet. I will be on a journey. Even when I reach that goal, I'm still going to be developing. And that's what I learned about just acceptance of who I am today.
Ah, that's wonderful. Thank you. Do you have anything you want to add, Chelsea?
To add up to say, I'll say it made me believe in myself because we had the misconception of like days in our lives that we're not good enough and we're not where we are yet. But I think with having a mentor who believes in you and believes and understands that you can achieve what you want to do was such a great opportunity for me to experience that. So I think exploring different aspects of the life was very good. Yeah.
Ah, thank you. Oh yeah, Rose, please.
Learn actually, I really liked not feeling so overwhelmed by my own thoughts because I got to learn so much about somebody else that was new to me. And I loved having that experience of just getting to know about someone that was so foreign. And I think that helped me feel a bit more open about how I speak to people I didn't know. Because I'm also a bit shy sometimes. So yeah, that was a
Oh, interesting. Because you had a mentor from overseas, didn't you?
yeah from South Africa.
Okay, so yeah, so having that new experience, brilliant. Thank you. Actually, so what you were speaking about, Chelsea, about working on the different aspects, that leads me on to my next question, which is thinking about which domains did you work on with your mentor or mentors? So perhaps, is there any context you can give us? Any examples that you're happy to share, obviously. So just as a reminder, we've got work and money, education and learning, sports and recreation, home and family, community and citizenship, physical, social, identity, emotional, and cognitive health. So can you think of any of those that stand out for you, something that you worked on, Unis? Do you want to? Yeah.
So I think my point is all of them. The reason I started this mentorship in the first place is because of its ability to encapsulate all parts of life. When I started my mentorship, it was because I was suddenly diagnosed with a health condition which pulled me out of my trajectory for life for an extended period, which was about a year. So when I came back into life and everyone continued moving except for me, it was kind of, hold on, how do I jump back onto the train of everything? You know, my education was interrupted, my physical health, my sports and recreation. It was very overwhelming to try and, you know, continue with things when I'd missed out on so much. And being able to go through each aspect with my mentor, like mentioned earlier, it is quite overwhelming to, you know, go with your thoughts, especially when you're trying to continue with everything, being able to break it down into the different parts and explore each part each week. You're able to make lots of big problems turn into manageable small problems, and 9 months flies just like that because you're making progress every week. And then all of a sudden you've gone from, I have no idea where to start, to, oh my gosh, look at what I've covered, look at where I've come. So I think that is the beauty of the Say Yes mentorship.
Thanks, Eunice. Is there anyone else? Does anyone have any examples of things that they worked on, domains that they were working in? Any examples that they're happy to share?
So with my second mentor, I think what we really focused was more on getting into university. I was really overwhelmed with the application process and all that. So she helped me with like writing my what's it called? Personal statement. It was so overwhelming at that time because I was trying to figure out and transition into like college, into uni, finances, everything. So that was like a great opportunity for me to like get support aside from family, because sometimes you can't rely on family. You need someone else who has a wider exposure of like the world. And also I'll say it opened my eyes to the world because sometimes I'm based on like having this mentality of like, oh, this is the assumption that I have. But speaking to someone and her opinions about the world, it was so beautiful. And I was like, yeah, so that's why.
Thank you, increasing that perspective. So I think my final question then would be, what would you say to a young person who is thinking about getting involved with Say Yes? Unis, you seem to be nodding very enthusiastically.
With this topic, I've covered it a lot. I'm doing a research project with the Greater London Authority where this is a question I asked to my interviewees, and it's also something I've covered whilst we're visiting schools. The reason I think mentoring is important, especially to young people, is in the UK especially, young people are expected to make a lot of decisions that will affect them for the rest of their life, and there's not much support in that. And a lot of the support that is given is very rigid, like I mentioned before. There's a set expectation of following the route of going to university, then getting a grad job, and then working through a hierarchical structure, but that isn't meant for everyone. When you're met with disruptions like I was, it helps you take a step back and think, actually, now that I've been disrupted, maybe that system wasn't meant for me in the first place. And being able to work with your mentor to see what you actually want. Like we mentioned earlier, it's not about what the mentor expects from you, it's what you want from life. And the mentor helps you explore that. They're not telling you what to do, they're just providing you with all the different options that are available. And maybe one of those was something that you never thought about, and it helps you pursue things that you didn't know were out there. So when I think about why I recommend mentoring to people, it's because you can never have too many opinions. Whatever you don't want to listen to, you don't have to listen to, but maybe one of those opinions will change the trajectory of your life.
Thank you, Unis. Mary?
I'm just gonna I have the questions on my.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna look at it just because my.
Oh, yeah. So just to remind you, it was about, so yeah, what would you say to a young person thinking of getting involved in mentoring?
So I guess it depends on the kind of young person that I'm speaking to. So I'm gonna go down two routes. One, we had a meeting recently with the Children Care team, and I came from the perspective of a care experienced young person focused on that. And when I was in care, I was very much like, oh, you guys are telling me I should do this, I should get like a finance workshop, I should get this kind of workshop, I should explore all these different parts of my life. And it felt a little bit accusatory, or like I have to do these things, or I don't have a choice and you're trying to push me towards this, whereas this is something that you can choose for your own direction of life. And it's very much all about you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, no one's telling you this is how I think you should do your finance, this is what these workshops and all these kind of things feel to be. So if I was talking to a care experienced young person, I would say you have yourself in your corner, but you should also have another person backing you as well. So allow someone to be that for you. And just in general, to younger people, I would probably say, as you said, you can't have too many perspectives. You can, but also you can't have too many perspectives. Like, it's always nice to be able to see, okay, do you know what? This is what I think will happen if I take these routes. This is what someone else thinks. There's so many things that could happen, and just opening up your eyes to that is so beautiful. You choose yourself by choosing a mentor is what I would say. And that goes on to your last one, which is like a one-liner.
Yes, exactly. You choose yourself, but that's wonderful. Thank you very much. I wonder now if we might open it up to any questions that anybody might have for the Say Yes staff, or more probably for our young people. I think we'll take about 5 minutes here for any questions. I would just like to open it out. Yes. So did we hear that? So what's the one thing you've gained from the Say Yes programme that you would not gain elsewhere? Unis is jumping in. Great.
I think it's the ability to be mindful. I think a lot of people nowadays preach mindfulness, but they don't help you understand what it is. And with the Say Yes process of breaking everything into different domains and then going through each one week by week, you're taught to be mindful without using the word mindful. You're taught how to look at the different aspects of life. And then, like I said, after the 9 months or even 3 months in, you're like, oh, wow, I've covered so much and it didn't feel overwhelming. Not once did I sit and say, I'm going to be mindful. I've just naturally done it by breaking things down into smaller steps.
Interesting. Thank you. So it's one thing you've gained from Say Yes that you've not gained elsewhere.
For myself, I would say, and this is again going back, a lot of my experience in care is there was a lot of people there who cared about me, or key workers, all these. I felt like they cared about me. I really hope all the people I'm thinking about did. But with my first mentor, we still check in with each other and all these kind of things. And I think even after the mentorship, there's a level of consistency that I don't think I've had apart from my friends elsewhere in my life. And that's been really important to me, because even if I do get more mentors and all these kind of things, it's a kind of relationship that I've built that has its own nuances that I'm not going to get with another mentor, another person, and all these kind of things. And I think that's really beautiful and important, especially for people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds or underprivileged backgrounds who may not necessarily have that. So I'd say that's it.
Thank you, Marriam. Rose, yeah?
I would say it's appreciation of individuality. I think that I feel like people are told to fit into a box too much, and that everybody needs to have an identity that's understood by other people. And I think we're not taught that our identity should just be our own. We don't need to fit into something because it's what somebody else thinks you should look like, or how you should be. And I think that I felt more myself when I came out of that mentoring, that I didn't feel so uncomfortable about what my identity meant to me. So I could express that a bit more openly now. I don't have to feel that who I am needs to be hidden, because same as Marriam, my experience in care taught me so much that was perceived as wrong. And I internalized that because I didn't have any other voices telling me otherwise.
Well, thanks for sharing. Marriam, yeah?
I'm just gonna add another thing, right? And I think that is, and I choose to do this, or I chose a little bit to do this in life regardless, is put myself in uncomfortable positions. Normally I would be probably even if I'm on the panel, like hiding in that corner or something, trying to just like have the least amount of exposure as possible. But then now I chose to sit in the middle. The most uncomfortable thing ever, but actually it's not so bad, you know. And I think also just another person kind of influence, being like, actually, you know what, doing those uncomfortable things, don't let, my mantra is, don't let fear rule your decisions. So I do things I'm fearful of, and I think that another mentor would probably kind of pander to what I think or to what I want, and just be like, yeah, you know yourself best, blah blah blah. But having that like gentle challenging is great.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to add anything about something you've gained from Say Yes that you haven't gained elsewhere? Good. Expressed it all. Thank you very much. Any more questions? There you go. Yes, and just to put it in a tiny bit of context, so we will introduce our mentees and mentors together with a Say Yes staff member there present to facilitate the conversation. So it's a very low pressure environment for the young person. You can turn your camera off and just listen if you like, or you can take over the conversation and ask all your own questions. But yes, so we're thinking, yeah, what made you choose your mentor? What was it that you were looking for? Is that right? Yeah. It'd be interesting to hear what Unis said with Paul in the room.
I'll go. So I plan to have another mentor after I finish this one, which I've just actually started, and I'm going to go about that a little bit differently. So before I answer the actual question, I'm just going to answer a little bit. And this time I'm going to choose someone who I think has experience in the parts of the world that I want to further in. So far I've been choosing people who I think we have some, so there's a lot of questions that are asked: how do you view the world, how do you view yourself, so on and so forth, and that helps you understand who that mentor is. And I've been choosing people who kind of, if we met in real life, we could be friends, but you know what I mean? So there's a little bit of challenge there, and that's how I've been choosing my mentors. So I get like a little bit of growth as well, you know. So that but can be, actually, that doesn't matter kind of thing. As Rose was saying, like a little bit of appreciation of individuality. But that's what I've been doing so far. I think for my next mentor, not that hasn't been great, that's been grand. My next mentor, I want to hone in on myself a bit more on what I have going on rather than growth. So those are the two ways that I've been doing that.
Thanks, Marriam. Anybody else any memories of what you were looking for and why you chose your mentor?
Yeah, so to put it simply, when I was in a position of instability in life, I was looking for someone that I looked at and thought, you know what, I want to be like them. They have the things going on in life that I've always thought, you know, I'd want to be like in the future, especially being a man in the 21st century. There's lots of ideas about masculinity being thrown about on the internet, and I looked at someone that, pause right there. He's caring, he's compassionate, he's you know, he's family oriented, he makes time for the people he cares about, and he's open to showing that. I looked at that and thought, those are the values I want to bring as I turn into going from a boy to a man. And then it just encapsulated what I wanted from a mentor.
Thank you very much, Unis. Now, sadly, I think we might have to wrap up there. Oh, Rose, did you have one final thing you would like to add? Yeah.
Very similar to what Mariam said, to be fair. My mentor, I chose somebody who, I'm a very, very deep thinker, and I think far too much, to the point that I actually caused myself anxiety. And so I needed somebody who matched my level of thinking, but from a completely different perspective, so that I was being challenged with the depth and the kind of thinking I had, but then it also helped me broaden what I was thinking about and maybe have a different perspective I could bounce off of myself. And I don't need somebody all the time to challenge me. And that's what really helped.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So yes, unfortunately, in the interest of time, because I'm not sure if somebody might need to come into the room after us at 5, I would just like to sum up, I think, by thanking all of you for coming, especially our young people to come and share your perspectives. I really am grateful for you to be so open and to help everybody understand your perspectives. So thank you ever so much for that. I'd really like to do a big thank you to Padma and to the London Stock Exchange Group Foundation for helping us with the venue and the teas and coffee. I think takeaways, if, you know, do think of us, refer your young people over to us. If you have connections with other organizations that may well refer young people to us, please do make those introductions. We're always very happy to come along. It'll usually be me and Mariam, me and Rose will come along, explain the model, understand from a young person's perspective the value. Do put us in touch. We're always looking for more connections, grow that network, ensure that we can really support young people who need that. I'd like to thank all of our funders who are in the room as well. This is what you've made possible.